Reflections on fire. How do you become a fire eater? Who was the first guy to stick a burning hot flame down his throat, and what made him think that was a good idea? And who was the first nutbag to walk on red-hot coals? What made him think that that would work out okay? They say it's the sweat on your feet that keeps them from bursting into flames. Does this mean if your ass is sweaty, you can sit on them? I think the gas company should investigate these things, but they won't. Idiots. If only I was in charge. Yeah, right. This was written by Jeff. I can definitely tell this was written by Jeff. The dumbass was definitely crazy if he thought a gas-powered apocalypse wall was gonna work. Reflections on fire. My experiments with fire weapons are conclusive. Fire is a very effective weapon against anything that doesn't like fire, which is pretty much everything, except fire. Thus, the phrase, fight fire with fire, is completely stupid. Fighting fire with fire produces considerably more fire. The fire, the original enemy fire that you were attacking with your fire, would probably consider being a bigger fire an improvement and generally beneficial. All the same, I should probably run some more experiments. How the hell is it that Jeff was put in charge of the gas system at the tower again? Fucking madman, I swear. Reflections on fire. I'm no hero. I'm just a regular guy who sees things clearly. We need a lot more fire to be safe at the tower. Brecken thinks fire is dangerous. Maybe to him, maybe to people who don't know what they're doing, but I've been starting fires since I was a little kid. Yes, I made some mistakes back then, and yes, I burned down my neighbor's garage. Big deal. Anyway, I've learned from my mistakes. Fire will make us safe. People will soon flock to me in droves, seeking the protection of my fire-walled command base. They'll say I'm a hero, but I'll say I'm no hero. I'm just a regular guy who sees things clearly. Clearly you didn't see the danger of setting alight a flame at the end of a live gas line, Jeff! Fucking dumbass. Neil, you know the magazine supports you, always. And no one's saying you don't know what you're doing. You've been to too many places where you're the only one who did know what he was doing. But this one is different. Haran isn't just another basket case with a madman running the show. From what we're hearing, and it's not much, the Haran virus is now completely out of control. The effects of this disease are so uniquely horrifying that walling in the city and putting a man like Suleiman in charge actually makes sense. Anyway, we can't get you in through any of our channels. I won't say that we tried to, but we did look into what would happen if we attempted it. They were on us in seconds. People are watching us, and they're probably watching you, so be careful how you send information. And to whom. Last thing, if you do somehow manage to get into Haran, you're going to have one hell of a time finding a way out. That place is sealed tight. Good luck, old friend. You've got guts, but it's luck you're going to need most. Chris. Alexei, my husband. We have both seen enough of our friends destroyed by this sickness to know that my fate will be no different. In a very short time, I will turn on you and Christoph, and perhaps harm you both. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry that you will find me this way. Please don't be mad at me. I love you and Christoph above all things, but I must do what I must to protect you both. Now promise me you will do what you must to protect Christoph. He is too young to understand consequences of recklessness, and the world has become too unforgiving of mistakes. Find safety wherever it is and stay there. Make peace with it. Ignore whatever flaws you will quickly come to see, and make the best of the situation. It's the only way you can survive, and that's what I want for you most. I love you. Farewell, Maja. Finally, everything is in place. It's a beautiful day, and we're all lounging on the rooftop. A few biters are roaming around, but for once I know they truly can't reach us. All the doors are secured, and I have the only key. There won't be any, oops, my bad, around here. I've never locked myself out of a room, never lost a key, or forgotten a lock combination. I'm not perfect, but I don't screw up on matters of security, because I use procedures and checklists and I stick to them no matter what. The people who've joined me here have put a lot of trust in me. Some were nervous about not having copies of the building keys, but I told them anyone who can unlock these doors can get you killed, and since they can also get me killed, I'm the only one who gets keys. You either trust me or go back to the tower. Nobody left. I'm pretty damn pleased with what I've accomplished here, but my finest achievement is the electrified fencing I've encased the building in. Even the most determined volatile would be pan-roasted in a matter of seconds trying to scale it. The fencing is powered by a customized generator that runs off the building's gas lines, so you can't run out of fuel. For safety reasons, I've allowed the generator to run down its gasoline supply. Now I'll just head down and switch it over to natural gas, and then it will run forever. I predict tonight will be the best night's sleep I've had in months. By gods, I've earned it. Yeah, Hanson, you definitely deserve the dirt nap that you got yourself for stranding the whole group atop the fucking building, you asshole. From Anonymous. What a bunch of fools we were. Hanson and all his talk about security and ironclad rules and his rigorous procedures and checklists. Of course, his system was so flawless, it had to fail. Back at the tower, it seemed to make sense. Hanson was always carrying on that too many people had keys, and the entries to the building were never locked anyway so that people could get in. What kind of security is that? He'd say. If people can get in, the biters can get in. Brecken's going to get you all killed. So we joined Hanson and trusted him with everything. It was okay for the first week. We helped him encase the building with electrified fencing. Great idea, Hanson! And then he set up his customized generator, which he somehow got to run off natural gas lines, so it never shut off. We told him he was a genius. Well, you can't say it didn't work. It's been 14 days and it's still running smoothly. 14 days since we've had any food or water. 14 days since we watched that knucklehead fall off the scaffold and hit the ground like a bag of wet cement. He screamed when he hit the ground. I think he broke his back, and that brought in the biters. The others were horrified and felt sorry for him. Not me. The instant I saw that jerk plunge to the ground, I knew he'd killed us all. Hanson said he kept cyanide around because he always thought that someone else's negligence would let the infected in. That was his worst fear. Anyway, there should be enough for all of us. Except for Seraph, we've burned all our passports and driver's licenses and anything with our names on it. We don't want any record of who we were and how stupidly we died. This is my old school. I still can't believe it. We arrived this morning and the lieutenant said, secure those buildings and set up a perimeter. And here we are. Gosh, that's funny. Never thought I'd set foot in this place again. There were lots of TV cameras on us when we were entering the quarantine. Felt like a movie star or something. The last time I was in school, they said I was too lazy to accomplish anything. Now I'm in my fatigues with an AK-47 and some hand grenades, and they think I'm a hero. I guess that's mostly because of what the colonel said. When the news cameras were watching, the colonel announced that our orders were to assist the infected and evac them to special medical facilities where they can be treated. He said the doctors were anticipating a full recovery for most of them. People were cheering and clapping about that. But as soon as the cameras were gone, we entered the quarantine, and he gave us the real orders. Shoot any infected on sight. That was a big relief. I don't really want to touch them. Shooting them is much easier. It sure is funny being back at my old school, shooting all these people that I used to know. That would explain why the school was full of body bags lined up on the second floor. What the hell is this one? Yo, Frankie G. Well, here we are in Haran. Am I tripping? I thought it would be like all sand and Lawrence of Arabia-ish, but they got roads and everything. Well, not everything. Actually, I was thinking about opening a Porky's Pork Emporium here. You could make a fortune. And when I say you, I mean me, because that is a trademark Nick Pesto idea. We're friends and all, but this is business. So where are these games happening? It's hard to understand the foreigners who live here. A lot of them don't even speak American. It's a real problem, because last night this girl who looked like roadkill was trying to come on to me. Americans, right? We're like gold down here. She was babbling in that groany gibberish language they've got. She wasn't really my cup of tea, but I thought, when in Rome, boink some Romans. But then she went gnarly and chomped me. Now I feel weird. Bet she gave me sniffles. I think I should see a doctor, but hey, we're in Haran. This is so cool. Good times for Nick Pesto and Frankie G. Party. Your pal, Nick. P.S. I bet you're gonna freak when you see a real paper letter from me. The internet is down at the hotel, so I thought I'll give it a shot. Back to the roots, huh? I think we have a solid new candidate for patient zero. The deceased Mr. Barris Burek was 37 years old. He was a white-collar professional who worked for a local public relations firm called Best Face Forward. Their offices are in Old Town. His medical records are well documented. His health was good. His coworkers, the ones who are still alive and could be interviewed, described him as intelligent and even-tempered. The sudden violence he displayed at his workplace, he killed 2 people and attacked 6 others, was not triggered by any particular event. Witnesses said he was feeling unwell and had closed the door to his office to rest. 30 minutes later, a disturbing clamor could be heard inside Mr. Burek's office. A concerned woman who opened his door was immediately attacked and beaten to death by Mr. Burek. After several difficult minutes, he was subdued by workers, who held him down until the police arrived. At no time did Mr. Burek cease to struggle, though he was reported to have uttered a few words that suggested fleeting moments of awareness. When the police arrived, Mr. Burek could not be taken into custody peacefully. The responding officers used batons to further subdue him, but this resulted in lethal injuries, and Mr. Burek was killed on the scene. This event occurred a full 3 days before the attacks at the Seva ashram, which we had considered to be the first recorded incident of infection-induced violence. I suspect the Burek case was overlooked because, despite the severe wounds Mr. Burek inflicted on his victims, none of them developed Haran virus symptoms. Clearly, he had not reached the transmission-viable stage of this very unusual virus. Thus, we have a patient zero who failed to produce any other infected victims. From this, we should deduce that the pathogen must have achieved multiple points of entry into the public simultaneously. An air or water contaminant seems unlikely, given the low numbers of early infected, so I'm thinking food supply. With your permission, I'd like to pursue this. Bob. Entry number 237. People are talking about the zombies. That's all they're talking about. Zombie this and zombie that. Don't you see? The zombies are a diversion. What else could they be? What's the point of zombies? There is no point. So why is this happening? Who profits from it? Nobody. Well, maybe baseball bat companies. But does anyone really think they could pull off something like this? You want to know who's responsible? I know this is going to sound crazy, and maybe my mind has snapped. But hear me out. It's the GRE. Sure, I know. They're dropping the edison that keeps us alive. That keeps us alive. Just think about that. So, the GRE is this goody two-shoes group that wants to help people? Am I crazy? I'm not crazy. Entry number 269. The game is changing fast. The rules are being rewritten. But who's writing the rules? Of course, the GRE is up in this to their goose-stepping necks, but they aren't the puppet masters. Not for this gambit. Big players have entered the game, but lurking in the shadows is someone else. The real powers that be. I suppose it's only a matter of time before one of their agents pays me a little visit. That's the price you pay for knowing the truth. Entry number 271. It's too dangerous for me to keep writing like this. I need to cover my tracks. I've got to start writing in code. I wish I could speak Navajo, but this will have to do. Code key. Allies equals igloos, radiation equals tartar sauce, lizard equals pumpkin, weapon equals french fries, enemies equals pliers, alien equals meat. Test sentence. The evidence that meat pumpkins are here is undeniable. I believe their french fries fire some sort of tartar sauce that turns pliers into igloos. Test complete. Results satisfactory. Proceed with implementation. From Sabri Chemist's corporate headquarters to Derenk Remzi, store manager. Subject, phenyl nitrate. Mr. Remzi, your concerns regarding OTC sales of phenyl nitrate have been reviewed by both the senior corporate and legal departments, and we are satisfied that no action is necessary at this time. Phenyl nitrate is an important sterilization agent used in hospitals and in clinical research labs. We believe the public's interest in this product can be traced to ambitious housewives trying to achieve the same level of cleanliness in their homes as one would find in a surgical operating theater. Who wouldn't want that? As to the numerous reports of phenyl nitrate being used to produce the illegal substance known as SLAM, we are completely unaware of any such reports. In conclusion, phenyl nitrate is a useful and highly profitable product in our inventory. We consider this matter closed. Please do not contact us again on this topic. Your lead newsman will read this exactly as it appears. The army has rolled into the city, and that's good news for the thousands of weary citizens who've been wondering what happens next. Military units moved quickly to establish their presence and to demonstrate that order is being restored and that the crisis will soon be over. The forces were led by Army Colonel Berkant Uzer, but are operating under the authority of Kadir Suleiman, who is serving as temporary governor, until the situation can be normalized. Civilians are advised to stay clear of military operations, which will include aiding and airlifting thousands of infected citizens to special medical facilities that have been specifically built for treating victims of the Haran virus. Doctors are promising to employ a battery of different treatments to reverse the devastating effects of the virus, and they anticipate complete recovery for most patients. During this emergency, martial law will be in effect at all times. Civilians are warned that anyone caught looting or engaging in criminal activity will be dealt with severely. To ensure public safety, a sundown curfew is also in effect and will be strictly enforced. Military spokesmen say that additional rules and regulations will be posted in public areas. It is the responsibility of all civilians to stay informed and to obey any instructions issued by military personnel.